G'day Internet, and welcome back to my channel, Aussie Walkabout PH. Today I'm going to talk about the first of the information that I've found out, and this one will be relating to Centrelink payments and Medicare. So in order to apply for Centrelink, you must be physically in Australia, an Australian resident, and must be living in Australia. You have to meet all three of those requirements in order to apply for the age pension. So if you're already at age pension age, you can go ahead and apply for that, being living here, and then as long as you've been here consistently for 2 years, then you can take that overseas. In my situation, however, I'm leaving Australia at the age of 60, and so I don't qualify for the pension until I'm 67, which is the standard. So for anybody that's in my situation, what you need to do is, if you need to or want to apply for the age pension in Australia, is that you need to come back to Australia to apply for that. You need to physically be in the country. You need to show that you have a residence in Australia. So you need some documents, some bills or whatever with your residence that you're living at clearly stated. And you also need to stay in Australia for 2 years. So that can be any combination of 2 years. So you can come back at 65, stay for 2 years, apply for the pension, and then leave and take the pension with you. You can come back at 66 and apply for the pension at 67, stay until you're 68, and then take the pension away. Now that 2-year requirement is hard and fast. It doesn't change whether you're an Australian citizen, a permanent resident, or whatever. So there is a condition on that 2 years. If you leave the country within that 2-year period for a vacation, say for a 1 week or 2 week vacation, that time that you're away will be added on to the 2 years at the end. So the clock, when you leave the country for a vacation, the clock effectively stops while you're away. If it's a longer period, say if you go for a month or a couple of months, then the Australian government or Centrelink will look at stopping your payment altogether, and then you'll have to reapply when you come back. So there's some rules around making the pension transportable. Of course, this all changes if you move to an agreement country. So there's a number of countries that are agreement countries, and I will list those in the description of this video. But the agreement countries allow you to be able to be out of the country and in one of those agreement countries when you apply for the pension, and you can receive the pension over there. There's no 2-year requirement to be here in Australia, and there's no requirement to physically be here in Australia when you apply for the pension in those agreement countries. Every country though, the agreement is different, so you would need to speak to Centrelink to ascertain what the rules are surrounding whatever country you're looking at going to. But in my case, again, I'm going to the Philippines. The Philippines is not an agreement country, so the rules that I spoke about before will apply to me. The Centrelink, the number for Centrelink International Services will be in the description, and you can see it down there. So if you have any questions, and by all means, I'm no expert in any of this, so all the information that I've provided today, I do so, but with the caveat that I am not an expert, and this is just information that I've gathered from reading the Centrelink website and speaking to the international assistance line. So, you know, if there's any things that might be specific to you about where you're going that you have questions about, then it'd be useful to ring them. But I will put the phone number and the list of agreement countries in the description for the video. So moving on to Medicare. Again, Medicare has a international assistance line, which you'll see here, and which I will also put in the description for the video. So the Medicare, the information that I've found for Medicare is that Medicare, if you're intending to move out of the country permanently, you must advise Medicare of that, and essentially from the date that you depart, your Medicare ceases. If you advise them that you're going overseas, but you know, not, but intend to come back within a time frame, or you know, it's sort of a little bit open-ended, then your Medicare remains current for 5 years, and after that you'll have to come back to it. If you're out of the country for more than 5 years, your Medicare will cease and you will have to come back and reapply for Medicare. In either situation, whether you advise them that you are permanently leaving the country, or if you just leave on a 12-month or 2-year tryout and see how you like it, with no real intention to stay permanently at this stage, when you come back to Australia, if you've been out of the country longer than 5 years, or if you have advised that you will be permanently leaving, then you'll need to fill in some paperwork to reapply for your Medicare, which will be granted instantaneously, particularly if you're a citizen. But you need to provide your passport and at least 2 forms of residency proof, so something with the address on that you're living in, and you have to give some demonstration that you intend to stay in Australia. What they don't appear to want, well, they explicitly state that they do not want people coming back to Australia for medical treatment and then going back to wherever they're living. So they don't want citizens to access Medicare and medical cover in Australia if they don't intend on living here from that point onwards. So there doesn't appear to be a time frame. So if you come back for medical, to have some medical issues taken care of, and you get your Medicare reinstated and you have that treatment, there doesn't appear, or they weren't able to advise whether there's a time frame on when you can go again if you choose, you know, 1, 2, 3 years down the track, that you would like to go and live overseas again for a period. So again, that's something that you will need to get in touch with them about and have a discussion with them about it. So as I said, that number for the Medicare International Assistance Line is in the description of the video. That's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that the information that I've been able to provide today has been useful to you. Again, I'm going to the Philippines, but this information is equally applicable wherever you're going. So if you're looking at moving overseas for a short or a period of time, or on a permanent basis, then hopefully there's some information here that is helpful to you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share, and watch the video all the way through. Thank you for hanging all the way to the end for me. Hanggang sa muli, until next time.